Thank you to all who are here, to all who are watching us online. The topic of the first press conference is the start of initiative Dostupno UA. Our speakers are Margo Hontar, co-founder of Dostupno UA, journalist activist, co-founder of StopFake initiative, and Dmytro Schebetiuk, also co-founder of Dostupno UA, master of sports and swimming, a member of Paralymic team reserve archery. Good morning, Margo and Dmytro, and the floor is yours. Good morning. And basically, we would like to thank everyone who are here, and we would like to tell you about our initiative. It's about accessibility of the space for people who move on wheelchairs. But we started from looking at cafes and other venues so that people know where they can go to rest, and we started to write about that in the internet, on Facebook. And once, together with Dmytro, we came to one place and we realized that it's not accessible. And there was an idea even, it was not that it wasn't accessible. Parallel to it was an accessible place. I did not know about that. I saw the photographs. Margo downloaded them, that they have high chairs, and I thought that probably it would be impossible to get there, and I never was trying to get there. But once we were just walking with Margo, and we went there, and I saw that everything is accessible there. I did not go there because I was afraid. I was thinking, what could I do there? I would have to ask for some assistance, but in the end I decided to go to the toilet to see whether you can really go there, and I was even more surprised because it was absolutely accessible, very wide and very accessible. And in our initiative we would like to demonstrate to people that there are some places which are absolutely accessible, but at the same time we were writing some feedback about the non-accessible place like Sushi Ya in Krishchatik. And you can get into this place, but with obstacles, and we are showing the obstacles so that the person with the disability is not afraid to go out. There's an idea to create the platform of the website, and we are describing what we do. We visit such places. These are in most cases private companies, but also public space, because people go there to eat, to rest, and basically we check whether they're accessible, and we describe our experience in the reports. These are not official reports. That is just information with photographs. A person can have a look at it, and we draw attention at what Dmytro was talking about. We are looking at how realistic it is to go there. Most of the cafes in Kiev have minimum one step, and that is not accessible. Even in this case, you have to request some other people to assist you, and also inside, whether it's easy to move inside, and the toilet as well. We are checking whether the person would feel comfortable in such a place. We wanted to show the conflict of interest. These places say, we do not see any people with disability, but the people with disability see that this place is not accessible, and that is why they don't go there. So we wanted to, on the one hand, show to people that it's realistic to get in there. There are some interesting places, and despite the fact that they are non-accessible. At the same time, there are people there who are ready to help, people who are ready to support, to make their places accessible. On the one hand, the disabled people have to overcome the barrier, but they will know what the barrier, what the obstacle is, and they will not be afraid to come out, to go out. And the places themselves will see that such people would like to go to them, and very often they would, the people there would ask us, what should we do to make this place accessible? We have 4 reports, 3 from Kiev, 1 from Dnipro, and they react even in Facebook. They write that we will pay attention to that, and there's one place, Harms, said that they will make the access. That's one thing they lacked, but it's nice that we have some progress. But on the other hand, there are laws, regulations which help to improve the situation. But this initiative is more not about demanding to make it accessible, but it's more about showing to the owners of such places the situation, so that they would like to participate in that, so that they understand that people want to go out, even people with disability. So it's about making people want to approximate, to come closer to European standards. Also, why people in wheelchairs, it's difficult to go out. Because even when it comes to a big building, you have to go down the steps, even coming out of your house. Then you think about all these obstacles in the city, then the toilet. And people think, well, it's better to stay at home. And that is the reason why many of them are staying at home. And I have many friends who are active, and despite all these obstacles, they live full life. But such places as Harms makes itself accessible. They had like 7 or 8 centimeters of some bricks that people had to go up. If basically the guy would like to invite a girl to for a date, so he will be able to individually get in there and will not have to request the girl to do that. The person who's with this person will understand that this is the full-fledged member of the society. I wanted to help him, but he says, no, I can do it on my own. And psychologically, the attitude to people with disability changes this way. Basically, what are we writing about is, and from my experience of working with DIMA, people in the city just help you. Even if you need to go down the steps, on the one hand, people react very well. There was not a single time when we couldn't find people who wouldn't help. But on the other hand, more people in wheelchairs are in the streets. More people will get used to helping such people. And we will not see any strange reaction to wheelchairs. There are plenty of people who help. We have enough people who would offer you help. You don't need to look for someone and to panic. And the same way I was in Dnipro and I was surprised, nicely surprised that people want to help and they immediately react. They ask what you need and how can I help. It's important to explain to people with disability, those who stay at home, that in the streets, despite all the obstacles, there will be people who will help you overcome all these obstacles. Some time ago, when I was going by bus, the last 5 stops, I was afraid. I was thinking, who will help me come out of the bus? And I was looking at a person and thought, okay, I will ask that, and then the person would come out, and I'm searching for another one. And 5 stops for me were like a lot of concern. I was thinking, who could help me? But now I am sure that in any case, there will be a person who will help me. The driver will not go till I come out. And I would like to have the same situation with all these establishments, places like cafes.
And it is also pleasant that even those public places where it is hard to make them accessible, to build access ramps, in general, their owners or their staff, they help to access, to get in the public place. We were at some beach in Kiev, but and we thought how to get there, but the guys, the staff of this institution, they helped us. Of course, it is hard to comply with the building standards, but at this stage, in inaccessible, we do not go to inaccessible public places, but we try to find some solution, not only being a pity that the situation is bad, but situation is not so bad indeed. And there are also some public places where it would be enough to build approach ramps. But of course, there are also some institutions which are located in basements. Of course, it is no sense to address them with messages to make their institutions accessible, because it is too difficult in terms of common sense. But we can address the other institutions, other entities, because they just may not know that they can make their public places accessible for disabled persons. We should popularize this topic, that it is fashion, it is popular, it is very new trend to make your public place accessible. And if a disabled person like me traveling in a wheelchair would like to enter some entity, some cafe, I would like to get in. There are many such cafes which I would be glad to visit. Of course, there are many issues which we would like to focus the general public attention on. And really, these public places could be made accessible, and this is in the interests of their owners because their target audience would increase. And this is not the matter that they should do that. And we have plans to identify such public places and mark them on the map so that we can inform the general public of such institutions. It's like in the TV program Revisor, an auditor, which mark on the map such institutions. That's why we decided to use hashtag so that people can describe their travel experience, and people can ask us how to get somewhere, which route to use. But this is a separate topic because it could be so that you can get the location one way, but on the way back you can't get home because of some obstacles. Well, I would like also to mention that we have plenty of ideas, and we focus our attention on cafes which are really interesting or some need to visit them. We would like to cover many institutions, for example, museums, theaters, so that disabled people can get to the same places as ordinary people, because disabled people are interested in the same things. We have the same interests, common interests. And finally, we have been asked that we have some legislative framework to promote such behavior, and it was the presidential decree in September which stir up different activities that would ensure more possibilities, more opportunities for disabled people, and it concerns also such public places. We have data for January this year. We have 2.5 million disabled people in Ukraine, and their number have increased in Kiev due to IDPs and because of ATO operation. The situation is now relevant, and there are other initiatives parallel to our initiative in the public space. That is why we didn't cover parks and streets, but the topic is now relevant, and we hope that entrepreneurs they would join us as well as other people. And also there are many organizations in Kiev and other places which cover the issues of accessibility of streets and public places in Kiev and in other cities. And we decided to focus attention on cafes and restaurants. Thank you, Margo, and thank you, Dmytro. We would like to ask you several questions. How many people have already joined your ranks, your NGO, and how can we join you? We are only two of us, maybe four more people have joined us, but active participants are only two of us, but we have many people who have already expressed their willingness to visit some cafes with us, and soon, as soon as possible, we will visit them. So we think there is about a dozen of people in our NGO, and we think of promoting our NGO in through internet resource, through Facebook social network. Our website is now being built. Thank you very much. This is really a very important problem which is not covered enough in mass media. So what would be the algorithm of actions? First, you monitor some institution, some cafe, and then you report in the Facebook, on your Facebook page. You will post your report. This is you can see now on our display one photo of the cafe in Dzerzhinsk. Yes, first we visit a cafe. How can you get in a cafe? What doors, how wide the doors are, how wide passages are, how wide and how wide the stairs are, and the steps, how high the steps are in some places of this cafe. So we describe all the items, including hospitality of the hosts of this institution, and we some at the end of our visit we write our report also in the book of responses. Now you can see Pizza Cilentana Cafe on the photo. You can see now the ramp, the access ramp, and it is at their own angle. Disabled people can use it. Of course, this means that just they have responded to our claim when we addressed Pizza Cilentana. We received response very quickly. The management called us by phone, and you can see now how we write our comments on hospitality, on accessible of ladies' room, and we also provide our general impressions. For example, I was in Sushi Cafe. they have not built the access ramp yet, but we can see that we have some response from the management of this public place. We think that we will come back to that cafe with journalists, and then you are also invited to our crisis media center to report to us. We will be glad to see you in the new year.